Voices Paranormal Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last episode of Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I am fucking Chris.
Wow, that's sounds lonely.
Well, depends on how frisky I am.
Sounds like a menage a moi. He's all over.
I'm not fucking Chris. I'm okay.
And you never will be.
Yeah, I never wanted it.
Miss Cherie.
The same old me, Cherie, yes.
You'd think after almost 5 years we'd have this shit down by now.
Be over here.
I know.
No,
What's my name again?
I don't know. I'm below Chris.
So I guess I'm fucking Ron.
I get carried away now.
He is cute.
There's no wine before the show. We're not in college.
And I'm Lourdes.
Lourdes is like, I can't.
Yeah, surrounded by children.
Yep.
So I just want to preempt everybody. This episode is going to be a roller coaster ride. We will finish whenever the fuck we want to. And you guys know how Chris loves his F-bombs. There are no chains on this dog tonight. What are they going to do? Kick us off?
What
Right?
the fuck?
But the good news about this is we've got something that's very near and dear to my heart tonight. And we're not going to bring him in right away, but I want to talk about it. So we've got a gentleman named Jeremy LeFever. I hope I said that right. And he has a foundation for first responders, right? That deals with PTSD, mental awareness. He has got some great stuff. You're late, Roger. He has got some great stuff. I love the fact that he is the last guest for Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence because you guys know how much first responders are tied to me. And I was telling Jeremy before the show, my great-great-grandfather was a sheriff. My uncle was a sheriff. My father was a sheriff. My father was a volunteer fire department, or volunteer fire chief. My Audra's brother just retired from the Kitsap County Sheriff's Department as a detective after 20 some odd years, 28 years. Mm-hmm. And his son, guys, this is really cool. His son just became a Kitsap County deputy sheriff. And Tim, Audra's brother, who just retired, actually got to pin the badge on his own son.
Oh, that's nice.
At the ceremony.
Very
so,
cool.
First responders, we've got tons of friends that are first responders. PPIT is filled with first responders. I come from a family of first responders. Audra's stepfather was a Vietnam veteran. He was he retired as a captain for the fire department in Toledo. Guys, first responders are near and dear to my heart. So make sure when Jeremy comes in, you clap so loud he can hear you no matter where you're at. Now that I've said that, I'm going to be talking all night, y'all. I don't start working until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, so y'all just better buckle up. Because this is going out with a bang, and if Audra doesn't kick me at least 7 times, I didn't do it right tonight.
Yeah.
She's already rolling her eyes.
Awesome.
And we're what, 4 minutes in?
4 minutes in. That's right.
You have a sore leg tomorrow, Chris.
What's that?
You're gonna have a sore leg tomorrow.
It's all right. I have rheumatoid arthritis. It's sore no matter what, so she can kick.
Probably the third one. I want to say that we met Jeremy at the New Jersey Para-Unity Expo. He was there with his daughters, and he told us about what he did. And that was one of the reasons we collected his information, because we felt the same, for different reasons, for our own reasons that you did, that this was just, I mean, you met him, now when you get to talk to him, he's a really, really good dude.
Yeah, very cool.
But he had such a deep-seated passion and purpose in what he was doing, tethered to the paranormal, but not purely from a paranormal perspective, but he really with a higher calling kind of a thing to it, which is what you mentioned with the first responders and stuff. And we thought that was fantastic. I went, this is somebody that needs to be on a show, any show that would get him on, have him on. He should be on, because I think that's an important type of person and message.
Freddie's got some really great evidence to see tonight.
He is, guys. He has got some fantastic evidence. I was telling Jeremy before the show. I review 99.9% of the time before the show starts. I get to review the evidence because I put the show together, and I try and put it in order of good to greatest. And I struggled with the evidence that they sent, guys. And he only sent 5-6 pieces of evidence. I'm gonna tell you right now, the last piece of evidence he sent is going to curl your hair. It is one of the greatest EVPs / audio evidence that I've ever heard. And it will definitely make you F-bomb counter and kick. Don't be doing shots to my F-bombs tonight, guys. You've been drunk before the show's over. But the evidence that he provided tonight is great. So not only is the message that Jeremy's foundation provides for first responders and what he does for first responders is phenomenal, but the evidence that he has captured and sent to us tonight is also phenomenal too. And you know what? We can get to the sappy bullshit at the end. Let's get to Jeremy first so we can get his message out there. Everybody say hello and clap like crazy for Jeremy.
Hey, thank you. You guys have me in tears, man. I'm listening to all these messages, and yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm surprised my head fits in this screen.
So let's start, Jeremy. First of all, I usually start with how did you get involved in the paranormal, but that is secondary to what your foundation does. Tell everybody, first of all, what you do as a first responder, and then let us know what your foundation does for first responders. Would you please?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a fireman in the city of Newport News, Virginia. I've been there 18 years. I'm a paramedic there and a fireman. I got about 8 years left, and I'm calling it quits. And hopefully I can find something to do involving mental health awareness and paranormal. I'll figure out something. But I've been there 18 years. So that's what I do full time. And well, now I'm doing this sort of full time as well, because this is really taking up a lot of time, but it's totally worth it.
So now tell everybody about Beyond the Badge Paranormal.
Yeah, Beyond the Badge Paranormal is a paranormal team that I put together about a little more than a year ago, and it's comprised of all first responders. So we have firemen, police officers. We have nurses in there because we feel like nurses should be included. And we don't have a dispatcher on our team, but we figured they're the first responders, so they should be included as well. You know, we have an open policy to have like a veteran and on board as well for military, because we feel like, you know, they should be included as well. That's why on our logo behind me, you see there's a whole list of people there. Those are the kind of folks we represent. But it's basically a community of first responders in my local area that we started a team. I started a team, and the whole point is to provide us, the team, a therapeutic outlet, something that we can do that gets us away from the day-to-day job. And our big mission is to spread awareness and love and support and kindness, and just try to use our platform, even if it's not the world's biggest platform, to try to reach one first responder that might be considering taking their own life. And maybe we can change it by just saying, hey man, you're loved. My mission personally is to being a tough grown ass man. I always call myself, but I have vulnerabilities, and those are my strengths. My vulnerability is my strength. And I want people to see that, hey, even a grown man at 43 can hurt, can be in pain, and it's okay to be, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to cry. All those stigmas that you have with firemen and police and military.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of all those things because that's what's killing us. Because we're keeping it inside and then it eats us away. So Beyond the Badge Paranormal, the mission is to show ourselves as, hey, we're just regular folks. We all struggle. And if you ever need anything, you can, we would like for you to go to our resources. But if you need to just call me directly, I'll never hang up on you. My phone's always going to be answered. And that's what Beyond the Badge Paranormal is. And we're a paranormal team. We do like to do that kind of stuff too. But
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great work.
Yeah.
Really great work.
That is fantastic work. And the reason, guys, I tell you this is coming from somebody that used to be a first responder and coming from a family of first responders and knowing first responders, guys, the stuff that you watch on TV that brings a tear to your eye is the stuff that these guys deal with hour by hour, day by day, every time they put on the uniform. So making sure that we support those first responders is just as important as making sure that you support the person next to you. These are the people that say, on my watch, you will survive.
Yep.
Whether it's police officers, whether it's firefighters, whether it's EMS guys, whether it's nurses, whether it's doctors in the emergency rooms. The first responders are the ones that say, you're not going to die today if I have anything to say about it. Guys, and they see everything that you cry about when you watch TV. They see it on a daily basis, by the hour, every day.
I used to be a New York City police dispatcher and 911 call taker. So I know how hard
for your service.
During 9/11, I was and it's hard. It's hard work. It's hard on the police officers. It's hard on everyone, this first responders. And it's a great thing that you're doing because
Fantastic.
I appreciate
you
it.
guys need that. You need that. You need that support. So
Yeah. I mean, I see it every day. I got guys. I mean, every day I'm at work, I have a guy who's teary-eyed and I'm talking to him like, because they know what I'm doing now. And so I become sort of like this outlet. People come to me now knowing that, hey, this guy's all about mental health. Now I'm very blessed because the fire department that I work with is leading the charge in mental health in our area. They support us. We're all about mental health, and we don't see that across the country yet, but beautiful department that I work for. So
that's awesome.
You know, not to make light of it, because everything you just described is absolutely fantastic. But think of this safety you're in if you're going out paranormal investigating and somebody gets hurt. You got firemen, you got first responders.
Oh.
Although I say that kind of jokingly, it's awesome. I mean, I used to hunt with 4 other firemen. I mean, I dislocated shoulders, pulled legs, and literally in like 5 minutes, I grabbed my leg and pulled on. I don't even know what they did. Hurt like hell, but then I was walking fine after. But seriously,
yeah, man,
that's awesome.
Yeah, we bring our own paramedics too. You know, it's like there's nothing could go wrong really. And people trust us with their places, I guess, right? Because we're always in people's houses. We're always in businesses. We tend to not destroy places unless it's on fire. Then we got to break windows and stuff. But other than that, we're pretty safe. That's why I joke about these insurances they make us have. I'm like, do you realize how many houses I go into a day? I don't break anything. We don't, firemen, police officers, military. We do party hard. We have a little fun here and there, but we're very respectful of people's properties, and we're not going to do things we shouldn't do. So
that's right. And you want to talk about a group with some mass situational awareness, guys?
Woo!
You ain't getting nothing
right.
by this group. I can tell you.
That's right.
I
got
know,
good
right?
ears, man. I can hear some stuff. I was with Ron in New Jersey, and they were doing their thing, and I was catching voices. I'm like, man, we got good hearing. We can hear a lot of stuff. We're used to that radio going off all the time, so I can figure out whatever the lady's saying on the other end.
Yeah, you were catching a lot. When you keep up with her, I was like, all right, he's good. He's good.
Yeah,
He
I
hears
appreciate
a lot.
I'm a co-reporter now, so I do a lot of
okay.
listening. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So she sees everything after you guys.
That's right.
Yeah, now I see everything after. Before it was before, right? I was the one who got the call.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Now I see it after.
To throw a little light on dispatchers, I know I'm not trying to take over the show, but dispatchers never get credit. You never hear about them. Nobody ever gives them any discounts at Chick-fil-A. Nobody cares, right? Because they're the unsung heroes, unseen heroes. They answer the phone, they hang the phone up, and nobody ever tells them what happens. And so in my heart, I feel bad for them. And it was really important that we included them. I did a podcast with a lady in California, and she was a dispatcher, and it was a beautiful podcast because we talked about the mental health struggles that dispatchers have. It's really important to me that we include them because they never get any recognition. So
yeah, I would have to go back into the case and see what happened. Like if I was in, I would go back into the case and see what happened. But other than that, we would never know. Yeah, we would never know.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
but I enjoyed it. It was a great job.
Yeah, and I want everybody to pay really close attention. Dispatchers not only talk people through CPR, they give directions to emergency services, they give directions to the police services, so they save just as many lives as the people with boots on the ground, right?
And you got to be
we can't do our job if we don't have where we're going, what's going on.
Yep.
So you guys are absolutely heroes.
You got to get that information because it's hard, especially when people are in a panic. Yeah. It's hard to get that information. You try to get it as quickly as possible and send it out so they can, do their job.
Well, so I look at it as a chain, right?
Soon. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I look at it as
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I see it as like a chain with a bunch of links, and dispatch is like our first link, and then obviously our emergency room nurses and stuff like that, and then our as the nurses go up the floors and all that, they're all part of that chain. And if any link in that chain breaks, the person doesn't have a good outcome. So that's pretty much our goal, is just to keep that chain together. We have a lot of huge things to talk about, man. In regards to mental health. I think Ron, you were saying something about Chick-fil-A.
So I want to take this hero to Chick-fil-A and see if there's any kind of discount, because so far, zero.
Yeah, none. It's total bullshit, man. I'm doing my best. I'll give you my discount. How about that?
No, it's all right.
That's fair enough. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that you came all the way up from Virginia to go to the Jersey Expo. There's a lot of expos in this region that you could continue to go to, and I think you should, to make people more aware of you and your group.
Do you remember what I told you? I don't know if I mentioned this, but my entire purpose of going to the expo wasn't to get an autograph from anyone. I've told every single person I waited in line for, which was everyone, that I'm a grown-ass man and I don't want anybody's autograph on my wall because I don't know what that'd be weird. What I wanted them to do is give me 30 seconds, and so I could explain to them that I'm a first responder, and that when you have 1 million people that watch you, if you took a 30-second part of your day and made a social media post about mental health or first responders, you'd reach 1 million people, and one of those million might be a first responder, right? So I met Katrina and Chris Williams and that Kalani guy. I met everybody. I made that my purpose to be there. And I just said, hey, I don't want an autograph. I'll buy something if that gives me a couple minutes of your time. I'll pay whatever it costs. I just paid for my teenage daughters to leave me alone all day, which was very expensive. But I just wanted to use your platform because my platform's small compared to these other folks. So that was my purpose of being there. And then I met Ron, and I enjoyed talking to him, and I enjoyed his presentation, and that was awesome. And then while we were there, we got hooked into the haunts of Williamsburg or Waynesboro or whatever it is, the ones in Gettysburg that are doing the Gettysburg Bash. And so we're going to be there. We're going to be there speaking in July, which is an absolute blessing.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of connections you need to make with what you're doing.
And I'll tell you what, Jeremy, you bring a flagpole with your Beyond the Paranormal on it, and I will run through the bash every hour on the hour.
All right. Yeah, I do that. I thought you were going to say something a little worse. Like I was.
So did I.
Why does everybody expect the worst from me?
Because you're fucking crazy.
Well, it's how you started it. You started
Exactly.
Seriously, with his genitals lit on fire and a sparkler in his ass, running around in the name of freedom.
Hey, if it gets subscribers,
if it gets people to know about first responder mental health, I'll do whatever it takes. You can call me Steve-O. I don't give a shit. All right. So let's get to some of the evidence that Jeremy has provided, because I want to leave enough time tonight at the end for us to say our goodbyes to everybody. But most of all, I don't want to take away any time from the message that Jeremy sends with what he does with Beyond the Badge Paranormal. But Jesus, y'all, the evidence that they have provided to us, I don't want to miss any of that either, because you use this evidence to help fund what you do, right?
So we use our platform. We created a YouTube channel, and it's not great, but we do our best. And we use that platform to try to expand our reach. The goal is, we get subscribers and followers. We'll have that platform to be able to the goal is to go to these speaking engagements throughout the year. That's the ultimate goal, to go to places where we can talk about mental health, whether it be paranormal expos and paracons or mental health expos. We want to have the platform where people say, oh yeah, we know who Beyond the Badge Paranormal is. We're going to invite them. And that's what we want. We want to be able to go and have the ability to say, hey, this is who we are. This is the message. If we never get a subscriber or another follower, I could care less. I love everybody that subscribes to me. The message is the mental health thing. So, but we have to have the platform to do it. So we use the evidence in our videos just to try to gain, people to watch and hit subscribe, which as easy as it is to hit subscribe, it's also very difficult for people. I subscribe to a lot of different things, and if I could just get people to hit that one little button, it would make a big difference. We do have a sponsor that's out there that's waiting for us to hit a certain number, and they're going to help pay for travel and stuff, which is big for us because, we're all just a bunch of poor firemen and police officers. So it's kind of tricky for us to pay for all these things. But yeah, so we use the evidence to try to gain followers, really.
Okay.
So then I can be like Chris and Katrina and all those people, and I'll have the ability to do our own stuff.
So I have a challenge I'm putting out to the audience tonight on our last Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence show. My challenge to you is not just to stay haunted, but my other challenge to you is by the end of the show tonight, that you look up Beyond the Badge Paranormal on YouTube and you subscribe before we end the show tonight.
I appreciate it.
Roger already did.
Yep.
Just so I'm putting a message.
That's right.
I appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Roger.
Yeah, and anybody watching who has a podcast or knows somebody who has a podcast, pass the name
You should look him up,
Of-
Grace.
of-
You know.
Jeremy. Yeah, we got anybody we know,
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, guys, a lot. It means a lot, man. Like I said, my goal is to retire in 8 years, and then I want to join up with my the charity that we're with, and I want to travel the country talking about mental health for first responders. I want to really get involved with that and use my paranormal team as like I said, the platform. And I know we're getting ready to do some evidence, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about it. But I'm getting ready to launch a nonprofit in our area too, because I realized there was a missing link to that chain that we never talked about, and it was the spouses of first responders and their families. So we're launching one in April, and it's going to be pretty amazing. So when we have a chance to talk about it, I absolutely have to talk about that, because I'm super stoked about that whole adventure that's about to take part. I'm about to take part in.
Cool. I'll give you as much time as you need tonight, bud.
Yeah. So you let me know when you're ready.
Oh, we'll get there. I guarantee you, we'll get there.
All right.
Okay, so this first one, podcast evidence footsteps. So here we go.
Yep. That's what I named it, because I didn't know how to. That's just for your podcast. I only named it that just for your podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I'll just go footsteps.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right, here we go, guys.
I sat over closer to that corner. He sat about here and she sat on this side of me. Was that just a lumber bag? It didn't have that sharp crack to it.
I don't know, man. It doesn't look. That's a heavy door too. I just realized.
Yeah, it didn't have that sharp.
I don't know.
Maybe just a little bit of it.
I don't know, man. Definitely, that's what it was, though.
Or he sat about here and she sat on this side of me. Or he sat about here and she sat on this side of me.
Wow.
You totally hear it. Yep.
Yeah, the footsteps for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was at the Cabin on 360. It's a place up in Mechanicsville, right near Richmond, Virginia. And it's called the Cabin on 360 because there is a cabin there and it's on Route 360. But it's actually a really cool place. It's right near the Cold Harbor battlefield. So you got the battlefield there. You got a cabin that's on the property and a 3-bedroom brick rancher with a basement. And that place is the most condensed paranormal location I've ever experienced or seen on TV or anything. It's the cabin. We don't really know who the ghosts are there, but you definitely get some cool things. I got the bells ringing and knocks on walls and stuff like that at the cabin. But the murder house or the rancher house is really where the shit goes down. Melissa Elliott in 1979 was murdered by her stepbrother, Randy Elliott. He shot her in the chest after sexually assaulting her, placed her in a box, drug her out into the woods. Her room is where we caught that other voice later on that you're going to hear. That's really creepy. And then at the basement, Randy Elliott says he was influenced by a demonic entity, and his mom leading up to the murder said that Randy was obsessed with being in the basement and was talking to things down there. And it was just, I don't know if he was being possessed or just losing his mind. Who knows, right? I wasn't there, but we were sitting in that room just having a conversation with the caretaker, and that door slammed, and I didn't hear the footsteps right away. I just heard the door slam. But when I went back to listen to the audio when I was holding the camera, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, holy shit, like there's footsteps, and that place is completely empty. There's no furniture there. It's a when you looked at around when we turned the corner, it's just a wide open wooden like hardwood floor. So it makes perfect footsteps.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And the door, I would say, like, if their footsteps didn't happen, I would say the door was the wind, because that would make sense, right? It's windy. But the problem is the door is kind of heavy, but also it's the slam and then the steps. It's almost like something came in. And I would like to say that's an isolated incident, but I've been to that place probably 7 times, and every time I come out of there, I have the craziest stuff happen. So
let me point something out about that door, right?
Mhm.
So I was with the sheriff's department for 10 years, but my main career is I've been in windows and doors for 32 years.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So that is what we call a storm door, right? So you have your interior door, you have your exterior storm door. And it's the reason it's there is so you can leave your interior door open. You get the light coming in, you can see outside. Those things have compression hinges, right? And sometimes they even have a compression hydraulic thing at the top. So the only way that door would come open with the wind is if another door at the back of the house was open, it was causing a counter pressure inside the house, right?
Right.
Even if there was counter pressure with a back door open or another window open with inside the house, it wouldn't pull it open far enough, no matter how windy it was, to slam it that hard. And even if
you're the expert.
Yeah, and even if it did pull it open, the compression hinges or that compression thing at the top, like on an old screen door, would have prevented it from slamming.
Okay.
So now looking at that video, it has the compression hinges that keeps it from slamming, and it keeps it automatically closes the door when you open it. But the point of the fact is you would have had to have had about 70 to 80 miles an hour winds outside, even if the door wasn't latched, to pull the door open far enough and push it back shut. So the timing and relevance, you want to talk about timing and relevance, you would have had to have a counter breeze that would have pulled the door open, and then an opposite counter breeze that would have pushed it shut at about 70 to 80 miles an hour. Which
I love it.
Yeah, statistically that doesn't happen.
That's the most detailed explanation of a door open and shutting. I love it.
He's awesome.
Oh yeah,
He's awesome.
Where do we get the flooring, molding, and carpet?
The door opened, it shut, and the footsteps sounded real to me, man. I was just like, holy shit, that sounds like footsteps. But I appreciate that because that helps,
Oh, no worries. And with that in mind, I want to play that clip again so people can see it. So here we go.
I sat over closer to that corner. He sat about here and she sat on this side of me. Was that just a lumber man? Oh, it didn't have that sharp crack to it.
I don't know, man. It doesn't look. That's a heavy door too. I just realized.
Yeah, it didn't have that sharp.
I don't know.
Maybe just a little bit of it.
I don't know, man. Definitely, that's what it was, though.
Or he sat about here and she sat on this side of me. Or he sat about here and she sat on this side of me.
Yeah,
That's
pretty cool place.
It is way awesome.
Good stuff. Oh God, he does.
Well, and I noticed in this video too that if you look down at the bottom, there's daylight, which means that there's not a clean seal on that door, which would even add to the fact that the counter pressure wouldn't work because there's a release of pressure at the bottom of the door. Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I would like to say that's the best piece of evidence I ever got there, but that place is insane. So if you really want to experience something, that's where you need to go. I was talking about to one of our people about getting Ron and them to come up and do the experiment there because the voices we catch at that place are absolutely phenomenal. You always catch Melissa. You always catch a male figure upstairs. And recently things have taken a darker turn, of course. We just put a video out called House of Evil or something. I can't remember what I named it, but it was where someone did not because the owners asked them to. It was someone else showed up to the property and did a ritual out in the yard and left the candles burning and the pentagram and all that crazy shit. Well, since they did that, they've been catching a whole lot worse, darker things. I mean, it was already not good, but there was usually 3 things you caught on audio, only 3, and we could identify those 3. It was Melissa, whatever that was down in the basement, and the guy upstairs. Always caught the same 3. Now we're catching 15 or 20 different things, and the things that are coming through are saying some really nasty things. So I took 2 psychic mediums with us, and we put them under Estes method in 2 separate rooms. And I stood in the middle of the house and asked questions for about 45 minutes to an hour, and they answered each other back and forth. The video is insane. You got to watch it. It's all cell phone video because they asked me not to bring cameras because they didn't want people to find out. And when I got there, they said, "Hey, can you make a video?" And I'm like, well, that's not really helpful. So we did with cell phone video. But it's completely raw video. It's just me asking questions. And I put their 2 pictures of the psychics in video next to each other so you can watch them in real time and how they answer. And I'm the one who set the experiment up because I wanted to make sure that it was controlled. So I turned the spirit box on. They both had noise canceling headphones. They couldn't hear a single thing. But what it was saying got really, really scary. And then it ends up attacking one of the psychics at the very end. So if you got nothing else going on today and you want to watch a video, it's out there.
But the only way you can watch it is if you subscribe to Beyond the Badge Paranormal on the YouTube channel.
Already done.
I appreciate it.
Did it.
Me
Thanks.
too.
Yeah, and that place is what? The cabin on 360 is like within an hour, give or take, of Gettysburg, Waynesboro, right?
It's in the house on the so it's in Mechanicsville, Route 360. It's near Richmond,
Okay.
Virginia. So
Oh, it's in Virginia.
yeah, Virginia.
So south of Horton, DC area.
Further down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, further down.
Yeah.
I think it's
No, we've never been. We've heard of it.
But we can definitely get y'all in there and get you to hookups because we're because we've been there so many times and I've made 4 different videos for them. And you know, for them and for me, obviously, but we're pretty close with the people that own it, so we can get people in there pretty quickly.
All right.
awesome.
You get some spiritual protection on that door, we'll consider it.
No
Yeah,
guarantee.
I got a really scary story to tell you about that place too. I just remembered. So my daughter Madeline, who's 18, she had never been there the first time I was there, and while we were there, we were singing "Jesus Loves Me" to the little girl Melissa because I felt like it was really tragic that this 12-year-old girl is stuck here. Whatever's keeping her there, whether it's the person upstairs or the thing downstairs, my heart broke for her. So even though the place said, "Hey, don't pass our people on," I wanted to at least let Melissa know that we loved her and we that she was God's creation, and whatever God decides to do after that is, you know, out of my hands. But we sang "Jesus Loves Me" to her, and what's really cool in like part 2 of the first video, you see we're singing "Jesus Loves Me," and I only put a small portion of that song in there because the location, I thought they were going to get angry at us because we were trying to, do some things. So I only put the very last bit of the song on there, but we actually sang the entire song and said a bunch of prayers. Well, while we were singing the song, we had our night vision camera going on, and I didn't send this one to you, but there's no vent, there's no window. Well, yeah, I failed you on that one. There's no vent, there's no window, there's nothing, right? There's no breeze, there's electricity, but they don't have any air conditioner, heat on, or anything. It's freezing cold. 3 of us are sitting in the room. It's dark. We've been in there for like an hour. We got no dust particles, no bugs floating around. It's completely clear. While we're singing Jesus Loves Me, out of nowhere, you see this flood of white lights come through the room. Some of them are worm-like, which is very unusual because I don't know too many bugs that float around like strings. And all these things are starting to come in the room and float in. It's beautiful. I mean, it's like I only saw it on the night vision later, but it was while we were singing the song. It was very spiritual, man. It was fantastic. So if you watch part 2 at the very end, you're going to see all these lights come in. That's what's happening. So, but my daughter hadn't been there before, and when I came home the next day, she says, "Dad, please don't go back to that place." And I said, "Well, why not?" She goes, "I had a dream last night that this creature was chasing me and my sisters around the house. And I went into my room and locked the door and went and hid us into the corner of my room. And it was scratching at the door and mocking us and singing Jesus Loves Me." And
ooh, creepy.
wow. Creepy. Yeah. So I am the voice of the group. I talk a lot, obviously. And whatever it is, I believe it's trying to mess with me and my family. But anyway, I just thought that was the scariest story. There's no way for her to know that because we had just got home that morning, and she's like, it was mocking, singing Jesus Loves Me in a mocking way, like Jesus, like whatever. And I was like, damn, girl, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, very scary place.
Jeremy.
What?
Yeah, creepy.
I said I have a question for Jeremy.
Yeah, sorry.
No, so when you're doing investigation, so do you have any protection before and after, just in case there's any attachment, or are you?
So yeah, we do the typical. We have the Palo Santo wood and the sage, and we have. I'm an incredibly spiritual person. I believe God gives me the suit of armor already. I pray. This actually, one of the craziest things is when I started this group, my faith life was pretty thin, and I rarely ever talked to God. But because I've been doing this, I realized, one, there's definitely something going on. There's definitely ghosts. They're real, no doubt. And if they're real, then it's just likely that God's real as well. And it's probably best to join His team. So my faith life has gone through the roof. I pray, 10 times a day. I'm super religious now. I still sin like a nobody's business, but I do believe that God does provide me protection. So, so I go into these things with a prayer, with a God suit of armor.
Yeah.
But then we do all the other things, and very vocal about, we are protected and you can't go home with me and stuff. And then at the end, we do the same rituals. Now, granted, I'm no professional in any of those things, so I normally don't say anything. I let the another member of mine who's a little more into that kind of stuff burn that stuff and say all those things for me. I just know that my God is going to keep me protected. And we're doing this for a good cause. It's content for a cause. And I feel like God's saying, hey, I'm going to protect you because I know what you're trying to do. I know your heart.
That's right.
So,
Right. That's right.
But I'm going to tell you these, whether, I don't know if it's demons or, unlikely, because those are pretty hard to come in contact with, I guess. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's pretty nasty. And it's definitely messed with me sometimes and tried to mess with my family. So, but if you have advice, I'll take it.
Well, I think what you're doing is great, because that's what I think we do too. I mean, you gotta, if you want to call it the suit, what is it? The armor of God.
Yes,
yeah.
God gives you a suit of armor.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it is that you use, you just gotta go in there with a certain mindset and just
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what with the Palo Santo and the sage.
Yeah.
It's in principle, it's the same
It
thing.
represents
Unless
Right.
someone can explain how on a physics level that those things ward off the same or the opposing materials of what the ghost is made up of and the curses. And unless you can explain that from a physics, then it's completely coming from a faith and a belief based.
Right.
And if you
Foundation.
believe it's gonna work, if you believe it's gonna work,
Yeah, and it smells great too. So
it does smell good.
It does.
Well, and from a first responders standpoint too, guys, you got to remember when you're in the heat of the moment, the last thing you're thinking about praying is because, I mean, God puts his strength in you to save who's in front of you.
Mhm.
So it's not in a sacrilegious type of situation, but the last thing you have is time to pray, because you have to focus on what's in front of you. So the fact that you do it outside of work just emphasizes the fact of the faith that you have in the abilities in your suit of armor that's given to you on a daily basis, dude.
Yeah, and God's leading me through this whole process as well, because every day I wake up, I don't have any idea what social media I'm going to post. I don't know what locations I'm going to. I didn't even know I was going to talk to you guys until a few weeks ago. I'm letting him lead me to every day, whatever he decides to put in front of me. The nonprofit is a complete leap of faith. I have no idea how to run a nonprofit, but I realized this link was missing, and I'm just going with whatever he puts in front of me. So
That's right.
Amen,
You're just
brother.
doing it. That's right. Doing it.
That's right. So the next one is manner voice. So here we go.
oh yeah.
My first interaction with him was there, but we've had interactions in both rooms. My first interaction with him was there, but we've had interactions.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
The other interesting thing about that is it's got echo to it too.
Oh, she
So I
was
don't
in the
know.
room for sure.
Yeah,
No, I'm just meaning that in order for it to have echo means it has to be an actual physical sound wave. So did anybody there hear it with their own ears?
We were talking in the foyer, and so that room, the manor house, is this beautiful 1700s era plantation home that's in Colonial Williamsburg, and it's kind of big. In each one of those rooms, I set a camera up. This was a body cam that I just stuck in the room. It's got great audio, by the way. The body cams are super awesome, and they're durable and all that stuff. But anyway, I put it in there and left, and we're in the hallway, and I'm asking Jessica, one of my team members and the medium on our team, that says, "Hey, in your expertise, where should we aim these cameras at? Because you should know, right? You're the medium." And she was going, maybe. And that's when we caught the little girl. But prior to that, for the first couple hours of the investigation, we spent the entire time in another room communicating with the girl, Mary, through the EMF detectors and things like that, and through dowsing rods, which are the coolest things I've ever experienced in my life. I was having like fanboy with those things. I had no idea how they were working, but I was just, if I'm the proof that those things are something, because they were moving all over the place, and I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing. But little Mary is pretty amazing. And then if you watch another couple minutes into that episode, I asked Mary off camera. I said, "Mary, if you could flip these lights on and off, that'd be really cool as well." And it was we leave, and we go to the basement, and then about 15 minutes later, you see the little lights start turning on and off, and they go on and off for like 20 minutes, just on and off by themselves. And I'm like, holy shit, man, she did it. So yeah, but yeah, that was crazy. I had a guy on TikTok post make a comment on that, and
Yeah.
kind of pissed me off about it. He said, well, I don't really care, it doesn't matter what people think, but he was like, that's like what did he tell me? That was, because I said this is one of the best EVPs I've ever heard. And my personal opinion, And he said, well, it's not even a Class B EVP. And I'm thinking, well, what levels? How do you grade these if that's not what would be a Class A? Then it sounds like a little kid's voice. So.
I mean, that's a good one.
Trust me, that's
Class A.
That's Class
So
A.
I sent him a message that was very professional.
There's emotion to it. You can hear that it's a child's voice.
You can hear that it's a female child.
It's got every proponent needed to be Class A.
And it's very
and that was probably around 1 a.m. too, or maybe 12:30, 1 a.m. So there's definitely no kids in there.
So whoever wrote that is just jealous.
Well, I sent them the most professional response that you could possibly send them. That I appreciated the fact that they watched the video, and that everybody's opinions is important, and that we love the support. Thank you very much. Because I'm not going to get into this. I'm too old to get into these Facebook TikTok wars. Man.
No, I agree with you. I mean, you just got a great explanation right there from Tony with regards to the characteristics that make it that's not Class C or whatever they were saying, and that's one of the detractions in the field right now, is that there's no unification for how one defines Class A, B, and C. So it literally is like saying, I like pizza or I like shrimp, and people are going to go, it's delicious, it's horrible, I love it, I hate it. It's so subjective to who you're talking to. So people have Class A stuff that I wouldn't even show sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's definition is across the board, and sometimes because you got it and not them, it can't be Class A because they weren't there.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, look, man, I'm again. It's easy for me because if we were just a paranormal team, I might be offended by it. But the fact that the message is so important in what we're trying to do, that the paranormal thing is like a small portion of what we're doing, and my main goal is to continue to do what we're doing, no matter what people think about what we're putting out. So. Yeah, I no hard feelings. Whoever that guy was, I'm not following him anymore. But whoever they are, it's fine.
Yeah,
right. As long as you know you're coming from the right place with what you do, then you can shrug it off.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what anybody else says, to be honest.
No, and I will say that if you're going to criticize other people's evidence, you better be able to produce some shit yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to talk crap, but I did go and listen to some of their stuff, and so anyway, next. I don't want to get into it. I'm just joking.
Drop the mic, bitches.
I'm seriously just joking, though. Totally good humor. It's fun.
No, that's good.
Out here.
All right, so the next one is No More Please. Here we go.
Is that still on down there? Or did they go off?
I think they went all the way off. Would it die that quickly? What?
There's no fucking way.
What, your light?
Yeah.
It's gone. We're just talking about it being on anymore.
No, you have to put work in for that thing to turn off. That's what I'm like getting at. Hey, Cross, is that still on down there? Or did they go off?
Would it die that quickly? What?
There's no fucking way.
What, your light?
Yeah.
We're just talking about it being on anymore.
Wow, that's cool.
That was weird. It was so long, man. That's part of the episode.
It's like mimicking a child.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, that's St. Albans Sanatorium, Bowling Alley.
You know, we have had other guests with St. Albans come on and had great evidence in that same exact area. PPIT caught the shadow figure at the end. They had the guy mimicking Zach. Remember that video?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that area is intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Most disturbing was that somebody left without picking up the spare. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'll play that video again. There's a portion of that where Audra says it sounds like a ball rolling.
Bowling.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
I want to bowl in a haunted bowling league.
We tried it. It didn't work out very well.
The only bowling league I'd be good in. But
Let's play that again. See if you can hear the ball rolling. Here we go.
Is that still on down there? Or did they go off?
I think they went all the way off. Would it die that quickly? What?
There's no fucking way.
What, your light?
Yeah.
It's gone. We're just talking about it being on anymore.
No, you have to put work in for that thing to turn off. That's what I'm like getting at. Hey, Cross, is that still on down there? Or did they go off?
Would it die that quickly? What?
There's no fucking way.
What, your light?
Yeah.
We're just talking about it being on anymore.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you heard. There's a sound effect in there.
Okay.
Clearly
That's for
sounds
dramatic,
like a blowing ball.
dramatic effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would look that up as a.
That's what I said to Audrey. I went on the second portion. Listen, I think it's a sound effect. And
Okay.
that's what it was.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
episode, I had to keep everybody, excited.
No, you're good because the No More Please was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird.
awesome.
It's we didn't hear it while we were there, and I remember listening to that evidence because normally at the firehouse I'll be up till 3 a.m, listening to this stuff by myself in the dark with my earbuds on full blast because a lot of these things you really got to listen hard, and I'll be listening, and then when I heard that, I was like, I got to wake somebody up. I just heard some voice that's crazy, and yeah, it's kind of scared me a little too because I was in there by myself in the firehouse, like in the pitch black dark. Scared to death. But
Well, and it's interesting too because it's a child saying "No more, please," and there's evidence of torture that happened at St. Albans. So
I had a theory actually. I made this up myself, but we know that little Jacob was sodomized to death, unfortunately,
Oh.
and that was the story that the people give you, that he was murdered by one of the caretakers or custodians, right? So when you're in this place, there's really one place you can go where no one is going to hear a scream at all. And that's the boiler room or bowling alley. It's way down sub basement. Really, nobody can hear anything down there. You're completely isolated. And my theory is this. My theory is whatever's down there isn't a demon like they tell you. I think it's whoever did that to Jacob is punished by staying in that bowling alley in the dark by himself all the time. And I don't think that's an intelligent spirit. I think that's Jacob's "No More Please" screams that person has to hear every day on repeat all the time, just to remind them of, hey, this is what you did. This is why you're here. This is your punishment. Because I think little Jacob is somewhere else in the facility. So little Jacob, we caught whispers of little Jacob upstairs. And I think that might be little Jacob up there. But that's my theory, at least.
Yeah, this is going to be the most F-bombs in any show, possibly from the last 4 years. Tonight, Chris's fault.
My fault.
It's fine. I'm in the firehouse, man. It's not going to hurt my feelings.
I was going to say, Jeremy's a first responder. He hears it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. My kids know the F-bombs pretty well as well.
All right. The next one is Albans. What is, and then it cut it off. So let's go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know. Surprise.
It's not your fault. It's StreamYard. Here we go.
Am I to believe that, because she hung herself here, correct?
I'm not sure if she hung herself, but several people have hung themselves.
Yeah. He said she hung herself when we did the walkthrough.
Never heard a voice in there. Never heard it.
So, Am I to believe that, because she hung herself there, correct?
I'm not sure if she hung herself, but several people have hung themselves.
Yeah. He said she hung herself when we did the walkthrough.
I heard a voice in
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I actually had two angles for that video. I wanted to go back. I made a video, a short video, because I wanted to show people that it wasn't Jessica, because Randy walks in front of the camera and you hear, what is that? And I was afraid people would think it was Jessica. So I went and found the other camera angle. We luckily had two cameras going. And I made a short little video on YouTube, and it's just basically saying, hey, look, here's the other angle. You can see her. She's not saying a single thing. Like, I zoomed in on her face and everything. She's completely quiet at the same time that voice is being caught. And then you hear, while she's in the bathroom, you hear a voice say, 6 more years or something. You hear another voice. We catch 2 more voices immediately after that are male. The female voice, I think, is probably Rebecca, because she was the young lady who had the miscarriage. And her, if the story is, she was brought there because she was pregnant out of wedlock during a time where that would have been frowned upon. And she had she gave birth to a miscarriage while she was there. Didn't tell anybody. Kept the baby every night. She kept the baby in the dead baby in the small little
bassinet.
It's like a little access to the attic.
Oh,
that she could reach. And then every night she would rock the baby to sleep. Obviously, she was going through a lot of mental issues, but the staff found the baby, and they removed the baby, and it's actually in Radford University in a jar. It's being studied by science right now. It's there, but when they took the baby, Rebecca committed suicide in the suicide bathroom, which is where we were at. That's the suicide bathroom. There was reported 5 or 6 documented suicides in that bathroom by hanging. The staff used to tell the people there that, yeah, well, if you're not happy, just go up there and kill yourself. Well, 4 or 5 of them actually did. So that's where that voice was caught. So there's context behind it, catching that. And we're holding a camera, and she's saying, what is that? Like, she's asking, well, what is that you're holding? So that's the context behind the voice.
Well, it's a great and a fucked up story, Jeremy.
I mean, we're in the world of paranormal. That's what we unfortunately talk about. People that have passed on. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I want people to know the history a little too, because there's some important stories to be told, and
we're not just important story.
Yeah, we're talking about real people that lived and unfortunately, had an event or something that caused them to pass on. And I always try to, know who I'm talking to when I'm there.
And that was also at St. Albans, right?
Yeah, that was the same time we caught the other voice. The what is the other one? No More Please too.
I don't think you should go
there. It's something.
Princess Fiona over here.
It's a cool place though. It is really cool.
What state is that in again?
Virginia.
That's in Radford, Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
It is literally a 2.5 hour drive from us. We're just
it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
it's totally worth it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
We're gonna be in she's not gonna be.
No,
I'm gonna be in Virginia next month, but not there. Yeah, at Hanover Tavern, they do it every year.
Oh yeah. I wanted to go there. I wanted to go by that. I don't know if I can get there, but
Hanover Tavern's about 4 hours.
Supposedly that's a pretty cool place.
It's fantastic. We do it every year, but she's got a granddaughter turning 1, so she's going to go to Florida, and I'm probably going to bring Anthony Simonelli, who's
okay.
He's going to bring his other girlfriend, Anthony.
His furry girlfriend that likes cannolis.
Exactly, that's her.
I love it.
How you doing?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so the next one is Talk to Me Sweet.
Oh yeah, I like this one.
All right, here we go.
Let's go in here real quick.
Wonderful.
What's happening?
How are you doing? I don't know. It's so weird.
How are you doing? I don't know. It's so weird.
Nose ring.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got a nose ring.
Not paranoid screaming at all?
Not at all. It said nose ring. And I got a nose ring.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's little Lisette. She's sweet, man. She's funny. She's the
Sounds
poor,
like you had a-
unfortunate soul that I drug into paranormal investigating. She was my rookie at the firehouse, and I forced her into doing this, and she's adorable. But yeah, that scared the hell out of him.
Yeah, that sounds like an old perverted guy. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
God,
yeah. It's just three girls. They were walking through the I don't remember which part of Sweet Springs that is. It's one of those little rooms, and she says literally, she's asking if somebody's there and wants to talk to him, and it says "talk to me," which echoes in the room too, which is cool. So
that last piece though, because doing ITC work, we remain highly skeptical of apps sometimes, especially now when they start employing AI and they can know where you are and tell you things about where you are. You can have conversations with AI. So if it responds to something with timing and relevance, it does not necessarily mean that it's otherworldly. Right. Nose ring is one of those things that when you look at the apps from a very critical perspective, you go, because you would have to show that the mechanism has some way to employ the use of the camera. How else were they talking about a nose? I mean, it's really hard to explain.
No, not at all.
Like that.
No.
That's
yeah.
That's
I don't.
very hard.
I give it like 10%. I really don't like the Spirit Talker app on while we're trying to investigate, because what happens is I got people holding it and they're just yelling out whatever it's saying, and it's just annoying the shit out of me because one, I can't focus. I have ADHD, and two, when I go back to watch the video and put a video together, all I'm hearing is people yelling out, "Oh, this is what it said." I'm like, "We stop doing that." Like, I told this girl, I told a lady this last episode that I'm making right now. I said, just hold them all to the end. We'll read them at the end. I really don't like to, and I want everybody's phones in airplane mode. I don't want anybody messing with any equipment. Just keep it on airplane mode. That way we can say nothing affected anything. So,
yeah, the biggest problem with an app, like Ron just pointed out, the other major infraction on doing an investigation is, it, like you said, it's a huge distraction. It's an app only has a few sources of where it can get vocals from, and first and foremost is a word database, which my guess would be 99.9% that's where it came from. Now, it's a little strange that somebody would put nose ring into a word database, but tell that girl that was using it, if she uses it again, listen for it to come out again. If it does, there's your answer right there.
Yeah, right.
Database, right.
I just like their response. She's funny, man. She always
She is
freaks out
funny.
like that. Yeah.
You could tell that she was freaked out, but she kept it cool. She kept it cool, but she was freaked out.
I mean, she's a badass firefighter, so I mean, she's pretty tough. But yeah, I like watching their responses. And right after that, a bat flew out, and all of them ran and screamed. It was wonderful.
Sounds like that video at the Copper Canyon Paranormal Research Center, the Phelps Dodge Mining Hospital, the two guys that wouldn't leave the nursery because of the bats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sweet Springs was crazy, man, because I had a 3 to 4 minute time period where I got complete amnesia. I have no idea what happened. I remember nothing. And while I was under the Estes method, I had 2 really creepy laughs that I don't laugh like very much, and scared the hell out of everyone. And then when I woke up, everyone's cussing at me and telling me we got to go. And I'm still laughing because something made me laugh. I have no idea what was funny. There's nothing funny there. It wasn't a comedy show. I woke up with this incredible urge to laugh. And it was right after they asked the question. When you watch the video in Sweet Springs at the very beginning, I start the episode with me getting screamed at by everybody. And I end the episode with me being screamed by everybody. Because I was down there like, all right, man, you pick on women. I'm not afraid of you. I dare you to pick on me. And then while I was under, I felt something touch my shoulder, and that was the last thing I remember. And then
wow.
I wake up, and when I watch the video back, you hear me like have this like really weird laugh, which isn't me. And then everybody just cussed at me and told me that I was crazy, and we had to go. So Sweet Springs
Were
is pretty
you
wild.
when you were speaking, if you spoke, were you speaking in your own tone, or was there a little difference?
It was a little different. It was a little darker. It was a weird laugh that I don't normally laugh. And it was right after they said like, do you think it's funny to scare us? And then after they said that is when the laughs happened, the two of them. And so it was almost whatever it was channeling me to laugh. I don't know. I just remember nothing until I woke up. Like it was such a weird experience. I can't even tell you, but
yeah, it's interesting.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
especially because you don't remember. So
I remember nothing.
Yeah.
And I watched the video. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember getting touched on the shoulder. But then I'm just sitting there, and I wake up, and everybody's like, "We got to get the F out of here. We got to get the F out of here." And I'm like, I don't want to go. It's only 3 a.m. I'm ready to keep going. And they were like, hell no, we're out. And so they drugged me out. I drank a beer and said, all right, I'm going back in. We paid a lot of money and drove all the way to West Virginia. There's no way in hell I'm leaving an hour early. So I drugged them back in. And then while we were in this one hallway, you hear this scratching on a door. It was probably a bat or a bug or something. But at that point, they were like, that's it. We're out of here. And then
to run.
I'd be done.
Yeah. And then I got really mad because they forced me into the car, like physically forced me in there because they thought I was possessed still, even though at that point I'm like, no, man, I just don't want to leave. This is what I love to do. And I look over at the building in the distance, and the lights are on it. They have some lights on there at Sweet Springs with those big columns. And right below the front porch, there's like an open area where the lights are on. You can see inside the building. Well, I see, no shit, this shadow figure dart, like zigzag from one column to the other underneath there. And I'm like, get the camera. We got to go over there. And they're like, hell no, get your ass in the car. And I'm like, there's no way we can leave now. I literally just saw a shadow figure. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. So
that's cool.
I would have ran right on over there, but they told me I had to go.
Yeah, it was probably best, to be honest with you.
I mean,
it's probably a good idea at that point.
Yeah, because you don't remember, so that's you know.
Yeah,
you know?
but
I know, but still, it was.
it would have been cool to get. It would have been cool to get that shadow figure darting around as well, though. Because then when we were talking on this show, I'd be like, "You got to check this shit out. This is amazing." But I'll just have to live it without not getting it.
All right, guys. YouTube, Beyond the Badge Paranormal. I have one more piece of evidence that Jeremy sent me that is going to send chills up your spine. Please help.
You said curl the hair before. I'm ready.
Me too.
There's not enough there, Ron.
Me too.
Your hair's already curly.
I tried.
Curly.
All right, here we go.
Please help me.
Yeah, please help me in here. Yeah.
If you listen after the scream, it's very faint. There's a second one that says, please help me.
Yeah.
Let me play it again.
Jeremy, is that by any chance slowed down?
No, that is the we in the room we heard the yell. So we had a spirit box going and we had audio going, and
I can hear the spirit box. That's why I was asking, because the rate of the signal change is really slow. So I was just curious if by any chance
in the video you can hear it. All I did was just increase the volume, because in the video, if you watch the actual video, you can hear when she screams it. But I wanted to make sure that it was undeniable. Like I heard, because in the video you hear us say, she said, "Please help." Well, that's after we heard it the first time. We're like, pause. I think I heard somebody yell, "Please help." And then we were like, all right, stop. So we went back, we rewound everything, we watched and listened, and we were like, holy shit, somebody's saying, "Please help." And then I said, all right, mark it. When I get back home, I'll go right to the audio. I'll put it into the Premiere Pro. I'll listen to it. I'll put the audio gain up a little so I can hear what she's actually saying. And when I heard it, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I think that's Melissa yelling, "Please help," because she's being, abused, unfortunately, and murdered. So
there is a second, very faint, "Please help me."
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and play it. Here we go.
Yeah, I heard a little bit.
There's two voices there.
What's the guy
Yeah.
yelling? She's yelling help. What's that?
There's a male. Oh, that's me talking.
Oh,
'Cause
okay. Okay.
I'm actually saying, I heard her. I said, "She's yelling, please help," or something. I was literally saying,
Okay.
"Hey, this is what I'm hearing." Yeah, it was wild.
Okay.
So that entire time we're there, we're catching a male figure cuss at us and say stuff like, die, bitch. And it was whatever's up there is really not very nice. And so that voice came through the spirit box, that "Please help" scream like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But we caught a male voice screaming, "Shut up, bitch." And we caught her multiple times. Second time I went there, I put 5 cat balls on the ground and did the little cat ball experience. And I had her actually respond immediately. So I would do like 1, 2, 3, 4, on 5, light this ball up. And she was, I assume it was her. I mean, it could be anybody mimicking or wherever, there really is no way to tell who's in that place. I mean, I don't know who I'm talking. I could be talking to anybody. I don't know. But it's absolutely fits the story of the house. It's absolutely the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's definitely
And that's an actual
scary.
picture of the girl that died and was tortured in the house.
Yeah,
right?
that's Melissa Elliott. Yeah. I spent so much time watching videos and researching her story and spending time at that house that I became emotionally attached to her, to the point where for a while there, because I was going there so much, I was getting emotional anytime I would talk about her, teary-eyed, welling up. I felt really bad for her. I have teenage daughters. So I'm glad I was able to separate myself from that, because it was really kind of it was affecting me a little bit. I took a personal vendetta to go there and help her. But what I realized is, though I think there's residual spirit of her there yelling, "Please help," there could be so many other things mimicking her that they want me there so they can have emotional connection with me, and they may not be her. It could be something nasty or something, you know what I mean? And I have to be cautious. I have no idea. There's no way for me to say it's her or something not nice.
Right.
And I don't want to get emotionally attached to something that's not nice. So I had to separate myself a little bit and say, all right, I'm no longer going to go there and get emotionally attached to this person who's passed away, because just in case it's the thing that's mocking my daughter singing "Jesus Loves Me," I don't want that thing to say, "Hey, now I got a wedge inside your faith armor," and
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, and so this gives clarity to why Tony asked the question before, and the second replay of that clip gave me the same question, because it doesn't sound like a slow sweep speed like settings go. It sounds like a sweep slowed down after the right. Is that what you were trying to say? Yeah. See, that's what I thought you meant, and I agree with that, because it does sound like there's a little bit of a slur to the sweep. Not that it's just it's got a little bit of like drag to the
elongation to it. Yeah.
That's right. So, and which is nothing wrong with it. It doesn't devalue the fact that you got that.
No. No, it doesn't.
Right? But when we heard the second pass at it, I know exactly what he was saying about whether it was slowed down, because it does sound like the sweep itself was done afterwards, not slow in the moment. Amazing nonetheless, what that is.
Yeah. There's something going on there. I'm no expert, so.
All right, Jeremy, we have reached the point in our last episode that we call shameless plugs. Now, that means you tell us where people can find you, where they can contribute to Beyond the Badge Paranormal, where they can subscribe, where they can find you guys, where they can make sure that your message gets out. And I want you to take, fuck our time limit, take as much time as you want to get the message out about your mental health with the first responders and the Beyond the Badge and where we can find you. Tell us all about it.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. So if you want to donate or give back or be a part of this movement, and you want to have an actual impact, the first thing I want to talk about is the Survive First Foundation. Doug and Karen Monda started this. Doug was a police officer, tried to take his own life, was unsuccessful. And when he came out of his recovery, they decided that they should help people. There's got to be people like him. So the Survive First Foundation is an amazing nonprofit, fully donation-based charity that provides resources, mental health resources via financial help with getting therapy, actual therapeutic resources, whatever you need. Education. They travel around the country providing training to police departments, fire departments, whatever the department needs. These people are amazing. So if anyone's out there and they want to really make a difference and help, that's who I would send them to first. Go to survivefirst.us and you can give, donate, be a part. You can join the team, volunteer, whatever you can do. Really, that's the organization that we've hooked into. Because being just a bunch of firemen and a paranormal team, we're really not able to reach the world nationally, but they can. And they're beautiful people, and I love them. And Aaron and Doug are some of my favorite folks in the whole world. And I call them directly all the time just to talk to them. And also when I have a first responder reach out to me, I call them directly and say, hey, I got this person and they need help. And they, within 24 to 48 hours, they're already getting a therapeutic resource available for them. Quick story. I had a first responder reach out to me. The person told me they didn't think they had 24 hours left, which is really hard on me because I'm not a professional, but I was like, oh shit, this is the real deal. Hold on a second. And I called Doug immediately and said, hey, I got this person. They need help. Doug basically said, okay, hold on a minute. Let me call a lady. That lady was in Chicago doing a conference. She was one of the nation's leaders in PTSD therapy. With that evening, they set up a Zoom meeting to help this young first responder. So I know this company works and this foundation works, so they're beautiful.
That's awesome.
Beyond the Badge Paranormal teams up with them, and our job is to promote for charity and just promote words of kindness, love, support every single day. So I have a goal of 3 posts a day of mental health awareness messages, just so maybe I can reach somebody. If you want to help us reach more people, really, the subscribers is really how we're going to do it, because we have an ultimate goal of we want to be the group that we are able to cross the boundaries of our state and move on across the country and talk at these seminars and talk with groups of people at paranormal events, first mental health events, wherever we can get our voice out and really try to save that one. It's really about saving one person. So that's what you can do. You can subscribe. We have a TikTok channel and Instagram, and those are wonderful as well. But we're trying to build our platform big enough to where we can be more free to do what we want to do and spread this message. And that's what we need. We need subscribers and things like that. Being on these podcasts are beautiful. So I'll go on 100 podcasts a month if I'm allowed to, just to talk about the message. I've been on mental health podcasts. I was just on a podcast with a guy in New Zealand. He's beautiful, beautiful person, Scott. And it was all mental health, very little paranormal. I love it. That's a great thing. I just love spreading the message. And the other thing you can do really is in your local area, if you're going by a firehouse or you see a cop on the road or you see a nurse at the hospital or even a nurse at the grocery store, it doesn't take a lot of effort to walk up to someone and say, hey, I appreciate you. You're important. The world is better because you're here. Tomorrow needs you. Stay another day. So it is uncomfortable if you're not good at talking to people, but I promise you'll get a reaction of, I really needed that today. I've received that about 100 times since I started this. I walk up to random people and just be like, hey, I love you. I know this sounds weird. You're important. Tomorrow needs you. And I give this little spiel, and all I've gotten back is, wow, you don't realize how much I needed to hear that today, because we're all struggling. The other thing I would say is, if you could do me this big honor, we all have, I can't speak for all of you. Most of us have a social media obsession with scrolling TikTok and Instagram reels and Facebook reels, right? And that can be like for me, I was averaging 2 to 4 hours a day. I know that sounds bad. I'm just scrolling mindlessly, not accomplishing anything, just burning my brain. And I realized that if I could take half of that time and make a positive impact. So I changed my algorithm on my TikTok to all my first responder folks. And that's just by watching a little while. If you watch it just long enough, that'll be what you see. And now what I do every day is, when I'm on my TikTok channel scrolling, when I come across a first responder, I immediately go to the message section and send them a message of love and say, hey, I don't know if you need to hear this today, but thank you for what you do. Now, the response has been enormous and astronomical. I've been getting responses back saying, I really needed this today. This really changed my day. Sometimes I get nothing, but it's always either nothing or positive. I've never got anything negative. I'll go on live feeds and randomly just send kind words to people, because I feel like God wants us to be kind to people and love people. And we have this social media outlet to reach people across the whole world. Why not use it for good? So if you could do me the honor of today, when you're on TikTok scrolling and you come across that firefighter or nurse video, go to their message section and just say, hey, just want to let you know you're a hero. Thank you for what you do. Please stay another day. If you need help, reach out. And, you'll be surprised what you get accomplished by doing that. And then, like I said, go to your local places and just say, hey, I appreciate you. Because it really means something. If you come into my firehouse and you say, hey, thank you for what you do. We know what you do. We know it's difficult. It does mean a lot. So, and I need to talk about my nonprofit. You promised. I got to talk about it. I'm super excited. So, I don't know. One day I just woke up and thought we need to do one more thing. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be a missing link here, because we have mental health in the first responder. If you don't know, first responder marriages don't last. That's a statistical absolute. Our divorce rates are super high, and so there's got to be a link to this. Like, why is that? Why are first responders and their families splitting up so much? And so the missing link that I was looking for is, I was sitting across the table from my wife, and I said, "Hey, what are we missing here? What are we not acknowledging? Because I have all these other people on my little logo." And she says, "Nobody gives a fuck about me." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I'm the spouse. I deal with all your shit every day. You come home, you're angry, you're depressed, you're always snapping, it's just, you're dealing with all this stuff, but no one tells us how to handle it. We don't know how to recognize it." So that was God's way of saying, hey, that's your answer, buddy. Like, do something about it. So what I've decided to do is we're starting a nonprofit in the local area where we are, and it's going to be called the Family Support Alliance. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with my fire department and try to branch it out to as many departments as possible. But we're going to go to the fire academy. When they're 2 weeks from graduating, we're going to provide a family night. And that family night, we provide the spouse of that first responder or a family member, if they live with parents, very basic PTSD, compassion fatigue, first responder mental illness training. And what we want them to do is to recognize red flags, recognize when their first responders having troubles, recognize that why are they coming home and not being intimate, or why are they snapping. If they can recognize these, and understand these things are happening, then the family unit may stay together. If we can prevent the family unit from breaking, that's one less mental illness issue or mental health crisis that first responder has to deal with. Because think about it. I come home, I've just did CPR on a kid, and my day is wrecked. I come home, and my wife wants me to do 7 different things, and I don't have the mental capacity to do that. So I snap, I act up. We get into a fight. Now we split. My kids now have parents that aren't together. They go down a road of mental health issues or whatever is, and so it's all because there was no one there to say, "Hey, this guy's struggling. I can see the red flags. Maybe we can, give him some time, or maybe we can help him out this way or that way." So I thought, well, why don't we provide this training while they're in the academy so that we get it ahead of time? We kind of catch it in the beginning, and then we'll give it to the people on the floor at some point. But we're definitely going to catch these newbies, these brand new babies, before they hit the floor where they'll have the training already. Yeah. That's leg 1 of the nonprofit. Leg 2 is obviously some sort of continuing education newsletter, quarterly newsletter we'll put out about mental health, and we'll highlight a family or whatever we're going to do to try to keep that continuing education. Third factor is we want to eventually, over the course of 5 years, develop a fund that if a first responder injures himself, that's separate from workman's comp and all of that. It's a one-time lump sum where we provide them a 1 month's worth of like mortgage payment or whatever, because that's another mental health stress that's going to affect that family unit. If they can't pay the bills and they don't have any leave and they're not getting the overtime that they need to pay the bills, they're going to cause a gap in that family unit, which is going to cause more mental stress. That first responder is more likely to take their own life because they're no longer useful. They can't work. They're not making money. Their wife's mad at them. Kids can't eat. And so we want to try to keep that family unit tight. So the Family Support Alliance will start up in our area. I'm not inventing the wheel. This has been done other places, but in our local area, we don't have anything really like this for us. So I'm gonna get this kicked off. I've already spoken to my fire chief. I have his complete support. He wants me to start at this next academy coming up. So come January, I got to get on the ball and figure out what I'm doing. I'm meeting with Survive First tomorrow via Zoom, and we're going to set up the schedule for them to come down and provide the training. And the goal is for me personally to get some training myself so I can provide training so they don't always have to come down. I'm going to figure out with them how I can become trained as well to provide some of this awareness training. So it's a big leap of faith for me because I have no idea what I'm doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
On my board of supervisors, because I have to have one of those, you'll love this, ladies. There's no reason for the board of my nonprofit to be made up of all dudes, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. So it's going to be me. I'm in charge. And then not really. I'm just going to have a name that's in charge. And then everyone under me is going to be spouses. So I'm actually having spouses volunteer to be on the board for my nonprofit, because it doesn't do me any good to try to come up with ideas to help the spouse when I'm not the spouse. So my wife will be one. And I have a few other guys whose wives have said, yeah, we want to be on board with that. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. And I think we'll make a difference, even if it's small. We'll make a difference. So, and we're weird because we're a paranormal group, but we're doing so many other things. That's what makes us a little unique, I guess.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. The biggest message behind that, guys, is even heroes need heroes. Yes. And Jeremy, in my eyes, you are one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate it, man. You too. And I just saw a question pop up about expanding to other states. The only issue with that is a nonprofit in Virginia has to stay in Virginia. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be hard. There's certain things I can do, but what I would encourage is there's people in every state that are first responders that could do the same thing. And we could maybe encourage people to say, hey, you can be a part of us, just be in Tennessee or New Jersey or whatever, and we can all work together. So, but I also don't have any idea what I'm doing. Remember, this whole nonprofit thing is completely new to me. I got a guy who's helping me out who runs a nonprofit already. He's going to be my business guy, because I'm just a knuckle dragging fireman. I put fires out and stuff, but it's what God wants, man. And I just gotta I got to have that faith. I got to take that step and not ask, not doubt what God's putting in front of me. Just make the step and just say, all right, I'm doing it. It sounds like a good idea. Whatever it happens. And as long as we're doing the right thing, everything will work out. So.
Yep.
That's all that matters.
Agreed.
That's all that matters.
Thank
Good
you.
God, y'all. I don't think I could have. Thanks to Ron and Lourdes for giving Jeremy my email, because I don't think we could have sent a better message on our final episode than what this man just sent right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I don't even know how to end our final episode after what Jeremy just said.
I know.
I appreciate it a lot.
He strolled into our exhibit room at the Jersey Expo we do every year, and he was intrigued, and he asked questions, and he listened to what it did, and it was all about the paranormal stuff. And then he mentioned what he did and what he was hoping to do there. So he got more than 5 minutes of my time, and
I did.
certainly caught my interest. And I was like, all right, well, we need to exchange info, and we'll see what we can do to help you spread the message. And that was why I sent it to you, Chris, was because I thought this is one of those things that when you come across this in the field, this is someone who's more about how famous can I be, what poster can I be on, where, what big thing can I do next. Your big things that you're doing are completely tethered to, but not fueled by the paranormal or any self-aggrandizing agenda. And that selflessness is something that this field, which you may consider yourself new to be in, but I assure you the field needs it badly. The kindness to other people, the selflessness, that's important. And if you keep doing that, find another you in every state and plant that seed, then that'll be a good thing.
She wants to know because I think she reached out to 2 podcasts already about you, Melissa. So she wants to know where's the best way to contact you.
So we have a website I'm really proud of as well. I've never done a website before, but I think the coolest website in the world. Only reason I say that is when I was first trying to figure out how to start this group, I had no information. I had no idea how to do anything. So I made this website. So if you have no idea what you're doing, you could go and learn about the equipment, learn about the places we've been, learn how to build your own little video camera that's night vision, and I put all the links to Amazon. It's like you click a button, it takes you where to buy the camera. I wanted it to be so easy for everyone. So I want everyone to have the opportunity to enjoy the paranormal like I've enjoyed it. But there's obviously a whole bunch of stuff about the mission on there as well. But I did add a contact page on the back. And if you go to the contact page and you fill it out, it'll send me an email and I will be able to respond. And I'm not so busy that I can't respond to emails. I will definitely respond to you pretty quickly. So beyondthebadgeparanormal.com. Look at it too. It's really pretty. I think it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I even added a little Christmas video to it on the front page. I think it's pretty neat. But so beyondthebadgeparanormal.com. You can contact me there. I would give out my phone number, but I don't know who's going to call me. So let's go to the website. Want to do that on the show, brother.
No.
Yeah.
That's fine. The website is fine. It's good.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
I don't want to take anything away from what Jeremy just said, but I need to give the 6 of us time, and we're going to start with Tony and Cherie. Give us your final message to everybody that's watched us for the last 5 years.
Well, first and foremost would be a thank you. We jumped from a couple different locations, starting off on our own to another station, then to another station after that. And the greatest thing was that our audience followed us no matter where we went. And it's grown over the years. And so first and foremost, a thank you for your attention every night that we were on, for listening to us when we were from absolutely crazy funny to dead serious. Nothing means more than that. And we appreciate you guys sticking with us and hopefully enjoying what we brought over the last 4.5, 5 years. So I guess that's my main message, is just thank you.
Agreed.
Yes, I agree with Tony. And there are so many people that we became friends and, social media friends, and
Got to meet in person.
And like Tony said, following the EVPE every Mondays for 5 years, and they're sticking to that schedule. And it's so grateful to have those people that really truly believes in us. And to our guests is, I really appreciate all our guests for
We had some great guests over the years, no doubt about
for
it.
sharing their evidence. We learn from each other, and so it's just hard to say goodbye. I guess it's goodbye for now. And we, the 6 of us, and it's so awesome to have you guys, and I can't say enough, and I love you guys. And thank you for your all friendship.
Yes, agreed.
Ron and Lourdes.
You want to start? Sure. I agree with all that too. I think the thank you and the way it was phrased is the best way to put it. We had friends that had a podcast before we were ever doing one that we used to watch like every Sunday, and then they stopped doing it after a couple of months, and we were like, wait, no, you can't do that. You get so used to it and you bond with the people. And just like when you watch characters in a TV show, you feel like you know them. They become part of your dynamic. And so when we see the same names and people show up at most of these shows, if one of us can't be there because they don't feel well, or they have to work or something, it matters to everybody watching as much as it mattered to the rest of us who did show up, who could be here. I mentioned before, this show got me through a lot of the difficulty when the world was shut down and COVID was happening. You couldn't go out, and people were like, oh, I miss investigating. I didn't feel it so much. I was home doing our sessions, and then on the Mondays we did this, and that was a tremendous help to me. It made me understand both sides of being in a community, what you get from it and what you need to give to it. And I think that the people here who will claim that they learned a lot from us have taught us a lot in what it is to selflessly support somebody else, what it is to show up, whether it's hard or not, whether you have no horse in the race and you still do it. Those things are important. And I think that the fact that we've had so many people do that for so long, for all of us, and taking an interest in all of us personally and what we do and supporting our endeavors and stuff has been great. I would not have changed a thing. If I could rewrite the last 5 years, I would have done it the same way, with the same people, the same way it happened. I think it was great.
Yeah, I'm going to miss everyone. I love everyone. I love our guests, our audience, you guys. I mean, we learned a lot. We laughed a lot. We had good times, Yeah, it's sad. It's sad that it's ending.
I should have went first.
Yeah, you should. Oh, me.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, guys. It's been such a ride from the very beginning of this kind of just organically kind of coming in to play with just the 4 of us, and then having Ron and Lourdes come, and then just building all of the wonderful guests we've had through the years. You don't know how much that means to us. And then being able to go out and meet everybody, at any little Paracon that we do, especially like Gettysburg or something, to physically be able to kind of hug you after being either a guest or watching on the show. I can't express how much I absolutely love all of you guys. So thank you so much for all the support throughout the years, and we'll be seeing you, I'm sure, out and about for sure. But thanks again.
Fuck, I should have went first.
It's right. Damn it.
Damn it.
Christoph.
Make me cry.
Guys, one thing you can guarantee is everything that we've done over the last 4.5, 5 years of this show, we have not only given our guests, the friends that we've made with everything that we've done with Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. What you saw with all of us was raw.
Raw and real.
Raw and real. You saw who we are. You saw how we act when we're not on the show. You saw the real 6 of us. And that is something that I will always value with the show that we did. And the reason I value that is because I only share that with people that I love.
We love you too.
Yep. It's a podcast that we did for a few hours every Monday night for the last 4.5, 5 years, but it was so much to us. Fuck, the toughest fucker here can't hold it together.
Yeah, thanks.
I know.
I can't tell you guys what this has meant to us for the last 4.5, 5 years. I can't tell you guys what Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence has meant to us, the 6 of us, the friendships that we've made, the connections that we've made, and how it will continue going forward of us being boots in the field. The message that Jeremy sent tonight is so much deep in my heart with the relatives that we have and everything that to end the show, to end what we have built with Jeremy's message means so much to me, but not as much to me as this show has meant. What I can tell you is the very first episode at the very end, I shouted out 2 words, and I've shouted it out at end of every show that we've done. Stay haunted, to the point to where 2 years ago when we were in Gettysburg, I literally had it tattooed on my arm. It's on my hat. It's a part of me, and it will always be. And I can tell you guys right now, those 2 words won't be gone for long. We love every one of you individually, every one of you that we have built as friends, that the friendships that we have made, what we have done the last 4.5 years has meant more to us than you guys can ever imagine. And this will be a memory that we hold in our hearts forever and ever. Because Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence was the title of the show. But guys, we will always stay haunted thanks to you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?